More Democrats approve of the policy, but we'll see what happens. We've made an enormous concession to North Korea by having them meet with the President of the United States in a summit of this kind. Whether we get commensurate concessions from North Korea, we'll have to see. The freezing of their program, of their testing, is not a freezing of their program. They're making fissile material now. They're doing the engineering on their missiles now. They are doing the engineering on weaponizing that fissile material right now. And so we'll see whether we get the kind of intrusive inspections that will at least freeze their program.
Yeah.
But certainly we're all hopeful about the talks in Singapore, and there was considerably less reason for hope 6 months ago.
Congressman Sherman, undeniably, the previous 25 years or so of diplomacy and sanctions had not gotten us to where we are now. What do you think is working with President Trump?
Well, I think the sanctions policy of the last administration was then amplified by President Trump. But we're still, you had Ted Yoho on just a second ago. He and I just sent a letter to the Secretary of the Treasury questioning why they have not sanctioned major Chinese banks, and they should certainly do so. They've been willing to sanction tiny financial institutions, but not major Chinese banks for their involvement with North Korea. Now, I don't expect anything to actually happen before June 12th, but it's got to be clear to the Chinese that their major banks will be sanctioned if they continue to business with North Korea.
We're in the middle of a worldwide watch negotiation, Congressman, and part of that was getting home 3 Americans. How disheartening is it to hear members of your own party kind of toss grass at that? I mean, Senator Chuck Schumer of New York made it sound like they were just political pawns. We got 3 Americans home. And by the way, if that's the only thing that gets accomplished, that's a whole lot better than where we were, as you said, 6 months ago. Your thoughts?
Well, getting those 3 Americans back is important, but we cannot make concessions that imperil hundreds of thousands and millions of Americans by letting up on the sanctions and calling it victory just because we get a photo op in Singapore and a photo op with the 3 Americans.
Well, the president has said he's going to walk away if it's not a real deal. Freezing the testing, though, I'm having military experts tell me that that is a very good first step.
Well, if you're not freezing the fissile material production, then they're moving toward a 21st bomb and a 22nd bomb. They had done the testing. They went through they've gone through many periods where they go many months without testing. They test, then they have to do the engineering, then they do the test again. Now, if this test ban is for years, that is an accomplishment, but a test ban for a few months may be fully consistent with full speed ahead missile and nuclear development.
Not to go too sideways on this, but I'd be remiss if I didn't connect these 2 dots, because what the president does with North Korea and what the president just did with Iran are connected on a global scope. People see it. Last question to you, and it's about Iran. The deal that we just pulled out of right now, are Democrats like yourself willing to walk up to the table and say, let's work on getting a better deal if that's the road that we can go down in the next 90 days?
Well, I'd certainly like to get a better deal. Frankly, I was the first member of Congress to be on the floor urging Congress to reject the deal. That being said, I think the way Trump is going about this, alienating Europe, is not the right thing to be doing at this time. Europe was willing to sanction Iran additionally for their missile program and sanction Iran until Iran agreed to more intrusive inspections. We should have pocketed those advantages and then resumed our concern in a few months. Instead, we have a circumstance where we're on a collision course with Europe, and we'll have to see. What President Obama was able to do is get Europe to join us in cutting off Iran. Now, those were successful multilateral sanctions.
Yeah.
No. Europe cut off Iran, and then we cut the deal. Now, some people say we had such good sanctions under Obama, we should have gotten a better deal. I was one of them. But those were really good sanctions because we had persuaded as well as pressured Europe to be helpful. We do not have good sanctions against Iran now, and it'll be difficult to see whether we can recreate them, because without European participation, you can't sanction Iran effectively.
Well, we'll see if they continue side dealing with Iran for it to stay in the deal. I mean, they have a choice, those European countries. Congressman Sherman, I want to bring you back, Democrat from California. Great to talk with you today. Thank you.
Good to be with you.